Davy Japa, let's start with you. How are you?
Do you want to tune in first?
Uh, for check-in? Okay.
Okay. I just asking.
Usually after, it's okay. Let's because we're still waiting for the other trainer for the day, so we'll tune in when she gets here. Go ahead, Davy Japa. How are you?
Hi everyone, Satnam. I'm doing okay. Um, I I don't. I guess I'm hesitating because I don't really want to say it. But and I know that you guys all got to talk on Sunday. I wasn't available, but I finally read the whole report yesterday, and then so it was interesting to get up and teach this morning. Um, so I don't know. I just feel strange. I'm not sure uh, really how to articulate or put into words what I'm feeling. Uh, so yeah, that's just kind of where I am. Um, you know, it's just I haven't I haven't spent much time talking about this whole thing with too many people. Um, so I guess mostly I just feel really insecure. I feel really insecure because of uh, how much in my life has been Kundalini yoga for the past few years, and so I can't even imagine um, for so many other people what this must be like. And this is coming from me just like really not having much of a relationship with Yogi Bhajan, like as a spiritual teacher, like it really just being about the yoga for me. So that's where I'm coming from. So I can't even imagine what this must be like for others that had more of a connection or a personal relationship. So um yeah, that's all I really have to say right now. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Our shares on Sunday were a lot longer. So if you ever feel like you need to share more or talk or discuss, we are here for you. I want you to know that we are. And Sita Daspriti, we missed you on that call as well. But just the same, we're all going through our own processing. This report brought out a lot of things to the light that we never even could conceive in our minds. So it is still a big shock for our global community. I just spent 3 hours with a KRI board meeting, and yeah, we're all going through it. And they spent 50 years with Yogi Bhajan. So, it's like, where do we go from here? Because we don't want to lose our community. But then you can't hide anything that's already out. So it's like, where do we go from here? This is like everyone's question right now. How do we address the healing, the harm? How do we do that? And reconciliation, like there's a whole path there's a whole plan of how to do that. The boards and SSCC and all of that have already, they're putting it all together. But for us, who we are, what we're doing, that's still very clear to us that this technology works and we're still practicing. How we feel about it, that's something else. Like that takes time. And there's no right way or how you should think this way. There's no shoulding. Like everyone has to find their own truth right now. Like this is everyone's own process. And as trainers, we're just here. Baldev and Sadhati and I had a meeting about this recently. We're here to hold space for you. For us too, like this is our family, like there's no one else to blame, we're not in the blame game, I'm saying, but when you find out things, it's not to stay stuck in it and like poo-poo it and like bad it. It's just, okay, things happened. We didn't know about it. Thank you for telling us. We know about it now. What do we do with it? This is the point where we all have to find our own peace, take responsibility for ourselves. I wasn't brainwashed into this. I walked into this as a scientist and I wanted to learn more. Things I found out along the way, Waheguru, I had no idea, but the technology still works. So I'm the only one out of us three trainers that never met Yogi Bhajan. So Sadhati and Baldev did. So they have a different relationship to him. I'm here for the technology. So that's very clear to me, and that's where I stand with all this. And I hold you all in that space of healing and love and support as well. So whatever you need, please just do let us know, because that was our call on Sunday, was what do you need to move forward? Do you move forward? Do you not? You know? But there is a community of us that are moving forward. Thank you for sharing. Who else would like to check in? Thank you. Let's go with Citel Cavalia. Chicken.
Hi, Satnam. Um, I am doing well today. The girls and I have been having really funny conversations that are making me laugh. I just really love our little group. It's just nice to have friends that understand where I'm coming from. So it's really cool to have that. Everything's really good. It's a little cool here today. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here, excited for the conversation. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you. Hari Jyoti.
Satnam, I'm quite well. I'm finally arrived in Denmark this morning, or very early this morning, about 3 o'clock, I think. So, but very pleased to be home, to be with my parents, to see my family. That really does a lot of good. So, pleased about that. I'm not used to air conditioning, so the whole day traveling with trains, planes, and automobiles, I'm getting a sick, I think. I'm not used to air conditioning, so I'm sorry. I think I will have to blow my nose every 2 minutes. But very pleased to be here and to be with you and everything. So, Satnam.
Satnam, thank you. Yeah, that AC, you know. Okay. Ginger tea will help. Thank you. Cavalia Avtar.
Satnam, everyone. I'm doing well. You know, things are kind of just moving along. I'm a little troubled with the New Hampshire situation for our meeting, you know, like meeting in New Hampshire, because I had seen a few weeks ago about Massachusetts where I could fly in as long as I have a negative COVID test and I don't have to do quarantine. But New Hampshire doesn't seem to, at least from what I saw, have this, you know, negative COVID test option, at least at this point. So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to go at this moment. But other than that, I'm good.
Thank you. And maybe we'll speak to Davy Japa about that New Hampshire thing, because that seems to be a travel restriction for a lot of us. Davy Japa, do you know about that?
I did not know about that. So are you telling me that you can fly into Boston, but you can't get in a car and drive into New Hampshire? You just can't? Like.
Hari, can you give some thought about that, Hari?
So whatever way you're coming into New Hampshire, if you're coming in from another state, you know, if it's not, you know, Boston, obviously, apparently, from what I understand is okay, but other states, if you're coming from another state, doesn't matter how you're getting there, 14-day quarantine, and you have to do a COVID test 72 hours prior to traveling there.
And do you know how this is? I'm sorry, we all have our own perspectives and opinions on things, and I am just like, are they monitoring that? Like, is that something that, like, so they're gonna pull you over, and like, where are you coming from?
That part so far I'm not able to find. I do know that they are wanting you have to have signed a document showing that you've done this 14 days. And hotels, you know, for example, I know that we may be staying in Airbnbs, but as far as hotels are concerned, they are following that protocol. So you can't necessarily, they won't necessarily let you stay in that hotel for your 14 days. They want you to find a place to do it that's, I guess, not commercial. You know, maybe yeah. So I can, yeah, it's on the state website.
Okay. I mean, I can check the website and I'll also contact the Airbnb.
Mhm.
Right, because if this is an issue for travel, that means a lot of us trainers can't fly in either. So either, you know, we're going to have to decide what we want to do about this as a training team, or we do it online and then meet in person at a later time later in the year in some kind of vacation format. That's just me wishful thinking. So I'm just telling you, we can, you know, I'm just going to leave it here because we don't know. I don't have enough information to provide you at the moment, but thank you, Kavaya Aftar, for bringing it up about the whole Boston, New Hampshire thing. Thank you. Shakti Harjeet.
Everyone. Yeah, when I did Google it, it was anyone coming from out of New England, the New England area, is required to have the 14-day quarantine. So those of us that are still here in New England, I guess it's not the same, but that's just from doing a quick Google. So I don't know if that's helpful at all. Otherwise, I'm pretty good today. I had class with Davy Joppa this morning, and that was beautiful. And it's nice and cool here in Connecticut, so I can sit outside for a little while, although the sun is pretty hot. But I'm just happy to see everyone. Satnam.
Thank you, Satnam. Priya Dial.
Satnam, I'm doing well. I wanted to say that I enjoyed our Sunday meeting, and yeah, it was like the Creo is very different from what I've ever practiced before, and I liked that, you know, earlier time for my time zone was nice. It was it was out of the ordinary though for me to get up and be ready to go, but I liked that we were ended at noon, so that was good. And I really enjoyed our meditation together as well. So that was a nice change of pace on a Sunday. And I took a class and we learned about moon centers. So I'm trying to pay attention to my, you know, I'm trying to like navigate my cycle. It's going to probably take me a little while, but if anybody knows about that, it was really interesting. And I'm glad that I learned about all that. So I'm just kind of reflecting each day a little bit while I journal on that as well to see where I am, and curious if anybody has experience with it and if you have any things to share. But that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. So Sadhari and I will discuss where in the schedule the 11 Moon Centers will be presented. It's a part of the women's teaching, so it's not necessarily a part of our level 1 per se, because it comes later because it takes more time. Thank you. Kavalya Adi.
Hello, Satnam. I'm fine today. I had a nice class this morning. And, you know, I too really enjoyed that cardio class we did on Sunday. I didn't know. It was interesting because I said, I don't usually do much cardio. And I thought, oh, I'll never be able to do this very well. But the way it was set up, you could just keep going. It worked off of itself. I really liked it. Let's see. I did have a question, and I actually emailed Davy Joppa today about it, but maybe someone knows. Since Kundalini U was switched over to, what is it, Nesoteric? I've signed up for a lot of courses, but I didn't sign up for all of them, and I thought I'd sign up for some more using our code. It looks like we can't do that anymore.
I responded to your email,
Oh,
and
you did?
I responded to your email, and I'm in communication with Simranpreet right now to figure out how we're going to move forward with that, and I'll let you know. And for those of you that weren't aware of the change from Kundalini Yoga to you to Nesoteric, I forwarded you the Spirit Voyage newsletter just a few minutes ago as well. just in case you don't receive it. Okay. But I'll be in touch about it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, Nesoteric is the new website for Kundalini Yoga U, and it has like 10 years worth of global sadhanas and so much more information and classes and resources. So that's the branch from Spirit Voyage that was holding on to all the teachings, but now they're nesoteric.com. Okay. Thank you. Preet Hardeva.
Satnam, good morning. I'm doing well. I got all my homework done. I practiced my Kriya. Unfortunately, I went to bed like at midnight. But I was thinking, so I think it'll be fun. I have challenged myself to at least laugh at myself once during that Kriya. And hopefully people will laugh along, because I am probably certain that saying, I have to practice this word because I read it for so many years. And I have to say it twice. The sadhana. Sadhana. I always get it the second time. I cannot, for my life of me, say it right the first time. And I have been practicing and practicing and practicing. So I decided if it comes out wrong, I'm going to laugh at it and go, well, what's important is we know that it's a spiritual practice. So anyway, that's how I am today. I'm cleaning up my space because I have all my stuff done. I'm so happy. So I can like declutter my space. Thank you. Satnam.
Thank you. You know that word sadhana has the H after the D? So it wouldn't be sadhana, right? Because that's normally how we would read it, like letter for letter. So like bring your tongue over the D over to the H. So like sadhana, sadhana, right? So we're not reading sadhana, sadhana, because it's a sadhana. Yeah. So you like stretch it long. You know what I'm saying? Like you got it. Because the more you practice saying it right, the more it stays. This is the thing about frequency and vibration. The more you say something wrong, the more it stays. So that's why, remember with Jepji, I'm like, listen to Jepji by someone who can say it from that ethnic group where it came from, because we don't make that sound normally in the American language. So practice sadhana.
I'm going to do the hand.
Just sadhana, because it's at the sun. Remember how the sun goes up, right? Like the sun is rising. Sadhana, the sun is rising.
I was videotaping myself. I don't know how many times I said it wrong last night. Finally, I just decided, okay, if I say it wrong, I'm going to.
Good, excellent. Thank you. And I think last of the students would be Sita Daspriti. We missed you on Sunday, so go ahead and spend some time connecting with us. Thank you.
Satnam, I missed you all too on Sunday. Yeah, I really felt it. I was teaching 2 classes that morning, and really I was teaching and also with you all too, as you know, sisters and brother. It's so so profound, and you know, we really need each other through all of the processing of this. So I was really upset that I couldn't be with you. Thank you, Sadhati, for sending me the playback of the conversation. I just started watching it this morning. So, and I haven't read the entire report. And I'm just, you know, I'm processing and going through the feelings that I'm feeling, and you know, I'll talk with you about them at some point, but I'm kind of, you know, I'm with everybody else in that the technology works, and I fell in love with the practice, not the master of the practice. And to be very honest, most of the people that I practiced with before this training barely mentioned Yogi Bhajan. So it's not like I didn't know who he was, but I never formed that connection. So, you know, as I continue my practice and continue with this technology and teach it, my heart still bleeds for, you know, everybody that was involved with what went on. So yeah, I'm holding all of them in my heart as I process this. So other than that, things are good. I have prepared my husband for complete and total chaos and craziness as I try my best to get everything in as soon as possible. And I just, when I got the email from Sadhati, I kind of lost my mind for a second. I was like, ah. And then I said to myself, I was talking with my husband about it, and he's like, well, you do have time. You don't need a certificate at any, specific time. And I'm like, yeah, but like when you're in school and school ends and you have those last assignments to do, stuff keeps coming at you and you can put it off and you can put it off. And I know myself, I just want to get it done, even if I have to drive my family crazy and stay up all night, a couple of nights. It's all good. So I'm just, rubbing myself up for that. So that's it. Satnam.
No, thank you. All right. Well, Dave.
What a great group of people. Hi, Maine, come on. Clap, everybody. Come on. We all feel good about each other, right? Fantastic. Y'all are great. This is wonderful to share. It's just, it's so heartfelt warmth to hear everybody's voices and where they're at and how they're feeling. It's just wonderful. So thank you for sharing. I know after a while, it's like the more we share together, the deeper we can get those shares, and it's really, helps all of us to grow, and I appreciate that so much. I'm doing okay. My shingles is coming back a little bit, so I upped my dosage of drugs this morning, and I'm very loopy when I stand up. It also loosens some of my inhibitions, so if I talk too much, tell me so. But I spent the morning listening to Sounds True, a couple of their free videos on trauma. And the first one was about the vagus nerve and how that affects us. And the second one was about the limbic system and how that affects us if it doesn't work. And it was very interesting because it's all things that we study in, what is it, lifestyles? No, not lifestyles. There's one whole, stress and vitality. So in the level 2 stress and vitality, both of those systems, the vagus nerve system and the limbic system, is studied because they both relate to trauma and stress. And it was kind of interesting to hear it from a different perspective than from the perspective that I've already heard it from, and how it really solidifies what we teach in that workshop, in that level 2 workshop. So it was pretty cool. And look forward to listening to more of their videos on trauma and stress this next week. So yeah, I'm good. I'm really good. Thank you.
Thank you, well, Dave. Sadhati.
Satnam. Another wonderful day. And it was so nice connecting the dots through the week. So getting to spend Sunday with you as well really was nourishing for me. And it feels, I don't know, there's just a deeper connection I feel that we have. And, and I appreciate all the work and effort that everybody's putting in and being so communicative. So I'm really, really happy to be part of this training with you. And as far as, today's another glorious day. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. I woke up feeling like that. It's like, let's bring it in. Let's take it in the air. Satnam.
Satnam, thank you, Sadhati. And, I have to say something about Pritardeva and creating that space in your life for getting rid of old things and bringing in new, because literally you got to make that physical space. And you have been moving a lot since you first signed up for teacher training. So, just applause to Preet Hardeva there for keeping up and doing so much work and being so clear with yourself and what you want to bring in. Like I think this is the magic of Kundalini Yoga, because that's the topic today, is Shakti and Bhakti. It's that power that comes, what do we do with this power once you have it? And that power also comes with your voice. Your voice is power. So just seeding that thought. And I wanted you to share a bit about that, Preet Hardeva, about finding your voice, not just like in chanting and singing, but like since you started Kundalini Yoga teacher training till now, it's been a few months, we've witnessed your change a lot, not just in level 1s, but the level 2s that you've been participating as well. So if you could just take a moment, Preet Hardeva, and reflect on that and share on that.
I used to just do what anybody wanted me to do because they wanted me to do it. And I would just say, sure, whatever, I don't do that anymore. I'm living here, which is great. I visit my husband, which is great. He asked me if I wanted to go do something, and I used to always just say, sure. And now I might go, well, I'm really busy. And I don't know, just I decided that because I was like being so nice, the good girl, right, that I was actually being very mean to myself. And that was pretty sad when I had that realization. I thought, oh my God, I don't take care of myself at all. I take care of everybody else. And so I just decided I'm going to take care of myself and try to be great. I just love that line. I want to try to be great. So for me, that's been the biggest thing. I have just been perhaps a doormat my entire life, but a nice doormat. So now I'm just learning to speak, and if they don't like it, well, so be it. It's okay. Satnam.
Thank you. And Hari Jyoti, you were in our other level 2, and you're processing through all this.
I think how do you say this? I'm still, I would say, even though I've done this, it's only been 1.5 years that I actually practice Kundalini Yoga. So maybe I'm still a kind of Kundalini baby, but it's done really a lot to me. So especially with the teacher's training, I think I really, maybe I'm kind of the opposite of Preet Hardeva. That used to be very kind. So me, I'm learning to be more kind and more open and more social. Even though I have certainly also been the doormat for for some people. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm really grateful to for all of you, to be with all of you, to have some social connections. Actually, I think that I could actually be a hermit if if I had to. I don't think I would really be bothered, or maybe I don't used to think I would be bored by that. But I'm really opening up my heart, opening up to other people, and learn to be more kind and considerate. I think so. Really grateful for that, and grateful for the yoga, grateful for the technology. So Satnam.
Satnam, thank you. Go ahead.
I don't have to keep hitting the wrong one. So I know I checked in already, but I just kind of wanted to speak to what you guys are saying. Hari Jyoti, I felt that like right in my core when you were speaking, like this light. I totally connect with what you're saying. And I think that, I kind of spoke to it when I first was checking in, that I love having you guys as this community, because it's special and it's real. It comes from like a really genuine place, because we're, in the seat of ourselves. We're in like our highest self. So like that connection that we feel with people that are also doing the same work is so spectacular. And I feel like, Haridas, I related to your story during the last class, where you said that, somebody told you one day, like, oh, why don't you be an engineer? Like, somebody did the same thing for me. They were like, why don't you be a doctor? That's like what you're supposed to do. So I spent all of my time trying to be that, and didn't want to. And I just think that it's really important to have this space with each other, and I'm just really grateful for it too. And then I think that's about it. I wanted to say something I can't remember because I'm just like in my feelings right now.
Thank you. Baldev talked about this earlier, about how when you're in stress and trauma, this comes up in Vitality and Stress course, as well as several other courses, that we become non-exertive. The words used in that level 2 is a non-exertive. If you, let's say, had a good childhood, you got, your confidence from your parents and the ability to try and fail and do again, that's called someone who's exertive. Okay, like someone who like embraces life, like, yeah, skydiving, awesome, like sees challenges and like goes after them, and not out of fear, but out of, that could be fun, that's exploratory, yeah, let me try that, right? So there's that part that's called exertive. But when under stress, like this is called COVID times, we are under stress, we tend to stay home, we tend to pull the energy inward. Because of COVID, we have to stay home. So that's, it's like pulling the energy inward. But when you're under stress for too long, or that stressor doesn't go away, it keeps coming back, like how Sita Dasparti's like, I'm going to stay up a few days, I'm going to knock out my exam, I'm going to feel good. But that's because she knows that the exam is over. What if we told you the exam is 4 years long? Like that's a stressor that keeps going and going and going. And at some point, and this is why Sita Kavalya in medical school and other places, when your heart's not into it, you're going to be so burned out, because you're like, what's the point of this? I don't even want to be here, right? So then that attitude comes up, and you're not willing to go through the fire. You're not willing to do the work it takes to get to residency, to do this. Because I remember thinking about medical school. My sister, who's a doctor, said, don't do it. You're going to be in so much debt when you come out. You're going to be, and you always have to prove yourself over and over. It's totally cutthroat, and your personality is not cut out for it. And because I'm such a big love bug, I'm like, oh, do I have to? She's like, don't do it, because your heart is so pure. You just want to be this healer type. You get to medical school, and the best thing you can do is give people medication. I'm like, I don't want to do that. She's like, stick in your yoga world. You'll probably do better work in your yoga world, like have more impact on people than in medicine, because she wasn't trying to be a doctor to give medicine. She's in preventative medicine. But now basically all she does is like, here's your prescription, go. Here's your Xantax. Here's your 10 milligram, so she becomes basically a pharmacy. She's like, this is not what I want it to be, but this is what the medical industry has forced me to be. So I'm grateful for her to tell me that. But this is the thing. If you can perceive the situation, right? If you can perceive the situation and you're willing to do the work of it, then you're key. You're like, I'm on it. But if you're not on it, it's going to feel like a form of beating myself up. Like, I didn't sign up for this. Why do I have to keep doing this? Because if you knew your teacher training instead of was 3 years long, was 6 months, you're like, okay, I could do it. 6 months. I got the weekends. I got the times. I can do it. Right? It's like we have to somehow pre-agree to it. Because what if you told you, and this is a true story, there's a teacher training that's 2 years long. That's, I think it was like 1,000 hours long. This is a 200-hour program. His is 1,000 hours long. It takes 2 to 3 years to complete his training, and it's less than 1% that complete it. So you know, there's people who sign up for that training too. And he does like the most incredible hikes up to Patagonia and like super high places, but like it's extreme training. It's not Kundalini yoga training. It's Kundalini yoga training, hatha training, philosophy, mountain hiking, mountaineering 101, camping at high altitudes. Like it's the extreme kind of training, but it does exist. There are people out there who want to do that. So my point is, if you knew what you signed up for, there's a chance you're going to complete it. But if we sign up for something and we keep changing it on you, most likely you would have left a long time ago. But God bless you, you're still here. It's a very unusual teacher training. We threw in the Sundays because Shakti Harjeet had to go back to work in September. So we're trying to juggle everybody. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this exertive phase after we tune in, because we are officially starting our training. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to tune in. Inhale. Exhale. Adgure name, Jigadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Gurudeve name, Adgure name, Jigadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Gurudeve name, Adgure name, Jigadgure name, Satgure name, Sri Gurudeve name. Inhale. Exhale. How many of you actually have a device nearby that can play a mantra? Do you have something nearby? I want you to listen to this, and Sathari, maybe you can type it up. Dana Dana Ramdas Guru, Guru Ramdas Guru. This is a mantra. I'm going to play it while we are here too. It's in my backyard, my background all the time. Dana Dana. Okay? Dana Dana is a shabad that's in the Sri Guru Granth, but it is a praise to Guru Ramdas. There you go. And this is something we'll be chanting 11 minutes of before we do 2.5 hours of long Ekongkars. And it's to praise Guru Ramdas. But it is an incredible shabad, mantra, long mantra we call shabad. Shabad is like poetry. So mantra is just a few words. But because this is so long, it's like a whole page long. I want you to have that in your background for the next, 10 days or something until we do the long Ekongkars, 7 days, 6 days, 8 days, sorry. It has a certain rhythm and combination to it, but it's very uplifting. So Dana Dana, Sanatam has a beautiful version. We'll probably be chanting to Harjinder Singh's Dana Dana, has a very beautiful tablas, and it's uplifting, and it has a beautiful sound to it, because it's a complicated mantra to learn. That's why I want you to have it in the background. So maybe if you know it, you can start singing the words or let that seep into you, because it's a mantra for upliftment, like general upliftment. And right now we need it in our community with whatever you're feeling. Just play that in the background. It's very uplifting. It's to call in the energy of Guru Ramdas. And the way I look at it, we all serve Guru Ramdas. We are the ambassadors of Guru Ramdas, of the house of healing, the 4th house of healing and miracles. So we are that kind of representative. So that's what, when we tune in, that's my tune in. I tune into that frequency of that divine teacher within. So just from a raise of hands, how many of you are okay with your tune in? Om Namo Gurudev Namo. You're okay with tuning in? How many of you feel good about your tune in, and that when you tune in, that the whole room goes with you? Or is it still kind of like shaky? I don't know, I'm kind of a bit shaky on the words. Or is it like, this is me, I'm getting ready to teach, this is what I do? Like, how many feel like this is the process into stepping into a teacher? Yeah. Well, because, you know, like we're teaching Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. So that thing is still there. You know, the tune in, Satnam, I'm Hari Das, today's classes, let's tune in. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo, protection mantra. Those things for me are still in play. In the Nesoteric group, if you have started or want to join the Global Sadhana, and it's free, there are people, because they have not taken level 1, say things like, I can't tune in. That's just so gross right now. I feel so weird about that, because they don't have the understanding of a golden chain. So other people, and this is, I got to tell you, this is the thing about social media. You got to know who you are before you start sharing and before you start reading what other people share, because all of a sudden it's heavily going to influence you, right? So some lady, she wrote, I'm going to tune in with Om, O-M. I'm going to do 3 ohms and tune in. And then I'm going to teach whatever I want from whatever practice I want, whatever feels good to me. Okay, again, these are not Kundalini Yoga level 1 certified teachers. They are just saying whatever they want to say. And that's fine. Like, our perspective is, sure, live it up, whatever, right? Because no skin off my back, whatever you want to do. But if you studied with me, I would hope that you understand why this is a container, right? It's up to you after you graduate, because we just present you the material. After you graduate, it's up to you how you want to present it. But we highly encourage you. This is called Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan. So, you know, we do it still like this. Until KRI changes its guidelines, we're going to teach it the way we promised to teach it. Because there's a certain accuracy that goes with it. So when you tune into Golden Chain, it's going to cover you, right? So it's like, if you mess up, you're going to call me in to teach that class. And if it's not me, you're going to call Baldev in or Sadhari, like whoever your teacher is. You're like, hey guys, need some help here. Okay, so that's kind of what it is. So, and if it's not me, then it's going to be my teacher. It's not my teacher. It's going to be someone, you know, like it's going to go up the chain. Like you're going to send a complaint to management. I want to talk to the manager. Like, it's going to keep escalating. So if I'm not feeling my best, I'm going to pull on the golden chain. Golden chain's going to, I tuned into golden chain. Golden chain's going to teach it for me. And in a way that I rely on that. Okay, me, Haridas, I rely on the golden chain, because sometimes I'm just so tired and I just sit here and I'm like, I have to teach another 90-minute class. I just had a 3-hour phone call. I'm going to sit here for another 4 hours, you know? So in your mind, you're like, I'm freaking out. I haven't had breakfast. The mind just goes on its rant. It's so hot. Where's the AC? I don't have AC. Like, it gets so busy. But as soon as I tune in, Om Namo Guru Dev Namo, I know something has clicked in me. Teacher, you are now teacher. Slap, slap. Okay. Right? That is energetically what it's doing to my ego personality. So that's why Sahari's like, tune in. I'm like, okay, good idea. Let's do it. Enough with the social talk, right? Because once you tune in, now it's like, we're on a mission. This is where we're headed. This is what we're doing. And I want you to really pay attention to that, maybe in your journaling, what it's like for you to just, you know, be casual, hanging out. But as soon as you tune in, what are the observations that you're noticing? What do you notice about yourself when you tune in? Okay. And you can tune in for anything. You really can. Like, before I go to bed, I chant Ad Garename. I'm in bed, but I will do the white light surrounding, and I will do the Ad Garename, Jagad Garename, Sat Garename, Siri Guru Devaname. Because in sleep space, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know who's going to be around me, or if I leave my body, you know, like, you don't know what's going to happen in dream space. So I use these mantras as tools. And that's why I'm asking you, if you have something around you that can play music, I think Sadhari already typed it here, pull up Dana Dana and just play it in your background. So if you have something, I'm going to give you a moment right now. I'm going to do it too. Pull something up, Dana Dana. Just play it on, you know, if it's too loud or too destructive, like in the way of class, just turn it down a little. This is the version we'll be using. I'll share it later. It's nice, right? Melodic. Okay, so that's going to be on my background as I teach today with you. And I'm not sure which platform has it set, Hedy, so we might have to search for that. I think SeekNet definitely would have it as well. Okay, tuning in. We just did that. Now, back to exertive, non-exertive. When you are under stress, stressful conditions, there's a pressure being pressed upon you. Okay? When you have pressure on you, this is also one of the sutras of the Aquarian age, start and the pressure will be off, right? Start something. So if the thought of your mind, if the thoughts in your mind are so heavy, you got to start, you got to do something, you got to move from that space. In fact, we do it naturally. It's called distraction. It's called procrastination. It's called, I got things to do. I'm going to watch Netflix. Hold on. You know, you go back into your, yeah, maybe after this, after this, after this. And again, this is your mind. Remember, we had that talk about your mind. Is your mind your friend? Is it there to support you? Or does it throw so many distractions in your way that you don't really get what you need done? Because in your mind, you have a list. Sometimes that list is helpful. And sometimes that list becomes the taskmaster and beats on you, and it becomes an abusive relationship. And then you got to keep that in check too. So when the pressure's on, either you're going to use that as a, okay, I got a deadline, let's do it, right? Like you exert, you start moving, start getting it done, start answering those questions, or 2 questions a day. You know, you start telling your mind, we can do this, we can do this. Start moving, because any progress is better than no progress, right? That's why we tell you, just get going, just start. Even if you don't think you're ready. Because when you say, I'm not ready, what are you really saying? Go ahead, hands up if you want to share. When your mind, or when you say, I'm not ready for that yet, I'm not ready for that, what does it mean? It's not bad, it's not good, but it's a tactic that we use. What is, I'm not ready for you when you say, I'm not ready? Shakti, Harjeet.
For me, it's fear. It's fear.
If it's fear, when will you be ready?
If I don't push through it, I will never be ready. Me personally, I don't know if that's for other people, but if I keep falling back on that and just don't just do it, then it would take a very, very long time for me to naturally get through it.
Okay, good. Sita Kavaya.
What came to my mind was, like, when you said, I'm not ready, what does that mean for you? In my head, I don't know why it came up, but it meant like, I don't want this. Like, I don't really want this, because I feel like when I really, really want something, like undeniably, like want to do or to be, like, that's when I go after it, you know? So I don't know if that's.
Wait, say again. When you go after it?
Like if I'm not ready, then I don't really want something, because when I really want something, like, I go after it. Like when I really, really undeniably want it, or like, you know, you can't deny it. Like that's when you're ready, because I don't think I'm
Yes.
ever prepared enough.
Yes. Who remembers that movie? It was a rom-com from the 90s. He's Just Not That Into You. Remember that movie? You remember that? So that he laughs. You remember that movie? Remember when she's like, he's not calling me. I don't know why he's not calling me. I gave him his number. I texted him. I called him. Like, I don't know why he's calling me. And the girlfriend's like, girl, he's just not into you. Right? It's like that. It's like, I wait. I don't know why it's not coming. Well, it's because if he wanted to call you, he would have called you. And yet here we are, like, I don't know if I want it. Do I want it? Do I not want it? It's like so ridiculous, because if you wanted something, you would have chased it down. You know, you wouldn't wait for it. You would go call him yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's things you wanted, it's your first priority. But if you're not ready for it, it's not coming, right? So it's the same. It's like, how do you move through life? There are things you want to do. You do things why? Why do you do them? Because number one, it needs to be done, right? Dishes are dirty. They need to be done. I'm going to do them because it needs to be done. Sometimes you do things because you like things the way they are, the way you like them to be. So someone else comes to your house. This happens often. I go to my brother's house. I'll do your dishes. You made dinner. I'll clean the dishes. Don't you touch the dishes. Why not? I know how to wash dishes. Oh my God, who doesn't know how to do dishes? It's not of my standard. My brother is totally OCD. He has to touch every single dish. Even if you washed it, he would dump it and wash it again, right? He didn't have to. Like, according to me, it's clean. But for him, it's not according to his standard, because in his mind, it's not clean. You understand what I'm saying? So even if you did all this stuff, for other people, it's not of their standard. So you do things out of your standards. This is what we learned last week with Pete Hardeva in Authentic Relationships. You do things because it's of your standard. So the question is, why is it so many things we don't want to do? If we do things out of our standard, why don't we go clean the house? Why don't we attack that garage? Why don't we deal with that closet? We put it off. We put it off and we say later, later, later. It's on like the 30th item on my list. It's not on my top. Because if you wanted it, you would have gotten it done a long time ago. But there are things in our mind about prioritizing. Priya, Dale.
I was just journaling about this topic, similar thing this morning, how I felt good yesterday because I did the things that I'm good at doing, like the busy things. Like, oh, I cleaned this up and I organized this and I did that. And like, I was trying to reflect on why that makes me feel so good. Like, why does that make me feel good when there's like handfuls of other things that could feel good and I could be like present and maybe like, I don't know, but sometimes it's like I need that busyness, that routine busyness, that kind of, I guess it is a distraction in a way too. Like it's kind of like either the Netflix distraction where you're just like zoning out, or it's for me, like the cleaning distraction where I'm zoning out and I'm like feeling like I'm accomplishing so much. And I'm really good at doing it. I'm very good at organizing and planning and following lists and all this stuff. But I'm like denying myself the time and the opportunity to really kind of listen, I think. Like really listen to what it is that would benefit me, like not me, but like my soul. And it's kind of scary. Yeah. So fear, like it's kind of scary to listen to that. And it's kind of annoying to do like the other things on top of that. So like the priorities, that's a big thing that I'm always kind of working with in my life, is like, where are my priorities? And to be honest, I'm sure all mothers feel like this too, or if you have responsibilities, like if you're caring for somebody else. But I guess in these last 3 years for me, it's been a whole shift of priorities and balance and all that stuff. And so finally, I think with the help of this training, because it's been a very like inward look, that things are starting a bit for me to feel like balanced, and just the awareness that I have is so heightened now, like than ever before. It's heightened in so many different ways. But yeah, that I don't know why that is like the busyness is a distraction too, but I kind of hide it with the like, you know, it's like a present, like it's wrapped up pretty because it's neat and it's done and I've done those things, but it's still a distraction.
Exactly. So there's this concept of when you're stressed, you go more inward, right? So then the Netflix comes on, and then all the things about, oh, I'm going to read this book in bed, you know, like more the things about staying inward. Because when you're out there moving, and we can all attest to this, when there are busy moments in our lives, you're like, I'm busy, but I can do more because I'm busy, you know? And then there's the moments like, I'm in my pajamas, don't talk to me, I'm not leaving the bed today. And it's like, once in motion stays in motion, Newton's law. Right? So there's like a momentum, we keep going. And then COVID hit worldwide and everyone's like, blah, we do nothing. Oh my God, what are we going to do with ourselves? And then came I'm going to sleep more. I'm going to write poetry. Oh, look at all this time that I have. Right? Then it became somewhat of a luxury. Even now it's a luxury, like to just to sit home all day. Amazing. Amazing. So our concept of stress has changed, is what I'm saying. So before, when we were stressed, we would either use that energy, pick it up, and like momentum, pick it up and run with it. More and more and more is coming. Or we would do the opposite and go inward and do nothing. You know, just like, I'm exhausted. Even depression is like that. Depression is like, you don't have the energy to even get out of your pajamas. You don't have the energy to even meet people. You cancel your dates. You don't want to hang out with people. So when we're stressed, we go into this, instead of being exertive, we become more inward. We go more inward. But now, because we're in COVID times, we're using this inward momentum to really rebirth and redefine ourselves to who we're going to be when it's okay to go back out again, or who we are online, how we are birthing ourselves. And that's why on Sunday, Sadhari is going to work with you on social media and setting yourself up as teachers, creating the space, just like Preetar Deva, just use hers as an example today. You got to clear something out, make room for the new to come in, right? So you got to clear something out, whatever that something is. And maybe it's the idea of, I can't be a successful yoga teacher, or I can't make money from yoga. Maybe it's just a thought form that needs to be cleared out. Okay, because like Sita Kavalia says, I may not want it so much, because if I wanted it, I would have done it already, right? So if we have a hesitance to something, that hesitance is sometimes because it's something new, you've not done it before. And because it's new, you've not done it, you don't really have a perception of how things should be. So it's like, okay, I could go hiking, I guess, if I wanted to. But hey, I went hiking last weekend. It was really fun. I want to do it again, right? Because some things that we do it. It was a good experience. We're going to repeat it. You remember riding your first bicycle? Everyone remember riding their first bicycle? You remember how you fell off and scuffed your knees and got your bruises and it was terrible, but then, oh my God, it was so fun and exhilarating. It's like that. It's like, how do you recreate new habits? Because our level 1 teacher training, when I was talking to Baldev about this in our class yesterday, in our free talk yesterday about COVID interrelating times, how do we create new habits? Let me ask you that. How do we create new habits? Why do we create new habits? What part of us wants to create habits? Let's ask that question. Why do we change? Why do we want to change? What is the inspiration for that? Who wants to start answering? Who wants to start the discussion? Shakti, Harjeet, then Kavalyari.
So for habits, I try and create new habits to become a better version of myself, a better person. Usually I want to create good habits. So that's the reasoning behind it for me.
Good. Kavalyari.
I want to create new habits because the old habits no longer serve me or harm me in some way. So by creating new habits, I'm upgrading my life, and the brain loves repetition. The brain loves habits, and so to create the new one, it's just like doing a 40-day to create a new habit. old be the in charge habit anymore. It might still be there, but it won't take precedent.
So what determines when a habit is old or outgrown or detrimental, Cavaliati?
When, regardless, well, for one thing, a habit happens, and if it's a bad habit, it's a bad habit if you continue to do it regardless of negative consequences. So I might eat ice cream every night and have a stomach ache and not be able to sleep, but it's a habit if I keep doing it. Now, if I keep doing it regardless of the fact that it's a habit, then it's almost an addiction. You can call that an addiction. So that's when it's time to try to create new habits. See, I look at everything that way. You know, that's kind of my MO.
This totally makes sense. And I just want to offer the perspective of a yoga teacher, right? Like these are all kinds of people are going to go to your class. They're going to tell you about their good and bad habits. Am I going to have an opinion about their habits? Yes or no? Yes, 1 or 2 no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Yeah, I don't really care. I don't care what you guys are doing, right? I only care if you ask me, how can I create new habits? Because for me, staying up late, if you tell me I stay up late and eat ice cream, I'll be like, live it up, enjoy yourself, right? Because I don't think it's a problem, because the word becomes a problem when we say it's a good habit or a bad habit, because there is no good and bad, right? Thinking makes it so, somebody once said. And it's like, look at it from an infinite perspective, because what if you needed to do that, right? Because in a way, everyone is self-medicating. We are doing things that we need to do. So maybe I needed that ice cream. But for anyone, look, anyone who's doing that late ice cream, sleeping in, whatever the topic is, they're doing it because for them, it makes the most sense to do it. They're doing heroin because it makes sense. They're doing cocaine because they need, like it's something in their mind has told them, I need this. I need my water. It's 94 degrees in LA. I need a fan, like who can say what's good and what's bad for you at this age? Like, look at us. We're not kids. We're not, Shakti Harjeet's kids in school, and she's giving us habits and she's trying to create good human beings for the planet. We're like so darn old already. Like we know how to brush our teeth. We know, like we have those skills. So what are we really doing? We're really just trying to get to a place. And this is my key thought for level 1 teacher training, is to self-regulate. Like, Sita Daspriti, you know the price you're going to have to pay if you're going to stay up late to finish your exams. But you also know the satisfaction it's going to feel when you're done and you're like, ding, submitted. There you go, Sadhati, take that, right? Like it's going to feel amazing. It's going to feel amazing because you're going to be done and you're like, and you've already made plans for when you're done. And when I'm done, I'm going to do this and this and this, because your mind has already created the vision of what it's like when I hold that certificate in my hand. Yay, I'm going to open my yoga studio. Yay, I'm going to work for the spa down the street. I'm going to teach this workshop. It opens up possibilities. So for you to create something like Preet Deva, create the space for it. Create the space for it physically, create the space for it mentally, create the space for it. What needs to go in my mind so that I can receive that next gift of the next blessing of the next frequency? And maybe the thought is, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Like those cannot exist where the Kundalini Yoga teacher frequency exists. Like certain things about you just might want to change, right? Might just want to fizzle out because the feeling of this is so much better. And I believe this is how habits are created, because you feel good about it. And because you feel good about it, it's a guaranteed good time. I'm going to go do that again. Because like Cavaliati said, our mind loves to create habits. It just loves we're creatures of comfort. Like we want to be comfort. We do the same thing over and over. So when we told you the first time, admit it, We're taking cold showers, everybody. Who's in? I'll put in my toe, honey dust. Yeah, right? So because it's new, we take our time easing into it. But once we've mastered it, now, as you know, it's hot right now. You wish there were cold showers around, didn't you? Like you wish there were colder showers because you've mastered it. Like you know it, you like it. In fact, you like it so much, you want to do more of it. So that's like saying, yes, 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 life, give me more life. I can handle this. And I believe this is like my main truth of practicing Kundalini Yoga is for increased nervous system. When I have an increased nervous system, I'm like, yeah, bring it on. What you got? Okay, what's your request? All right, God, is that all you got? Come on, give me something harder. You know, like Priya Dayal, there's like this want of doing more, but it's not doing more. It's more to go on, challenge me. This is easy. Come on. Is that all you got? Right? So we're trying to be more of our soul, like in our soul space, grab more of life and process more. So when you live in that frequency, you're like, whatever, is that the problem today? No problem. We can deal with that. So it's about flexibility. It's about your nervous system. It's about what you can handle. And it's about letting people do what they do, right? So we're not judging habits. We're just saying, what kind of habits would you like to bring into your life? How many of you here practiced at one point raw vegan diet? Who tried raw foods for like, a week, a month, a year, tried it? And how many of you stayed with it? Yeah, not so much, right? Because we read about it. It looks like a good idea. Wow, those people lost a lot of weight. Let's try it. And after a while, it doesn't stick with you. Now, is that to say we failed as fruities, vegans, raw foodies? Did we fail at that? Or it just didn't resonate, right? Because you got to try it, because everyone tried it at some point. Who tried fasting, water fasting? Who tried mung beans and rice? Who tried banana fast for 30 days? Right? Like, look, there's so many recipes in your level 1 book. If you take a look at it, you can do it. Who's tried Epsom salts, drinking Epsom salts to do fast, or for a bowel movement flushing? Epsom salts. Yeah, see, look, there's somebody out there doing it. But the point is, there are so many ideas, because we're healthcare practitioners, because we're health wellness people, because we want to try things, that we try them. We try them. Why? Because we're exploring. We're trying because we want to see what it's like, because we're going for experience. And that's why we do Kundalini Yoga, for the experience of it. Because Sarhari could tell me she did. Who did that grapefruit 30 days? Who did that one? Preetar Deva. Right. Because she's done it, now she can say, I've done it. I know what it's like. I love grapefruit, or it's sickening. Like, she can tell you things, right? Because she's had the experience. That's all I'm saying. All we do is we have experience. So when you have stress upon you, go through the experience. Just go through it. However bad, however great. Like, don't even do the small game of, is this good or is this bad? You're just like, this is my path. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. How many didn't ever try that Kriya that Priya Dayal taught the other day? New lungs and circulations. How many of you tried it before that class? Yeah. You're like, wow, that is hard. But in class, I watch you. You're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, like this. Let's go, right? So amazing afterwards. That's one of the few standing Kriyas we have. It's amazing. So powerful. And because you have a good experience of it, most likely when you go back, what's going to happen? And you try it again, or you teach it again. Because you've had the experience of it, Priya Dayal, what's the word? Because you've had an experience of it, and it was enjoyable,
Well, you like it. It was positive.
ding, 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 ding. The word is, you like it. You've accepted it. You enjoy it, right? These are the words we got to sync up with experiences so it cues your mind to say, yeah, more of this, please. Yes, yes, please. And this is what's going to determine how you are in life. What do you accept? What do you enjoy? Or what do you push out and say, oh, that's weird. That's no, no, thank you. Right? Because we have to have this experiential relationship to things versus in your mind, what you think is right, what you think is wrong. And I'm going to lay that right there. Thank you. So now, Sadhati, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and we're going to come back with Sadhati. And surprise, she's going to present what material? Sadhati, what are you going to present?
The moon centers.
Surprise! Ding, 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 ding. Surprise. Your wish came true. Sri Prakash will be joining us on Thursday. My bad on the schedule. I misread it. So Thursday, Sri Prakash comes, Shakti Bhakti. Today, Sadhati, 11 Moon Centers. So see you back in approximate, let's say 11 minutes. 11 minutes. See you soon. Thank you, Devi Japa. Satnam.
Thank you, Devi Japa.
Preet. What did the grapefruit diet do for you? I can't hear you.
It really cleans out your intestines.
Do you
Such
feel good after it?
Oh my God, I felt great. I probably shouldn't do it for 30 days. A couple weeks, good idea.
And that's all you have is grapefruit?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, my body loves grapefruit since I was in high school. I used to buy it by the jar, and then I figured out you could just peel them and eat them like oranges. So, but it really cleans out your digestive tract, and I don't know, I just really like them.
Just cleanses you and probably makes you lose some weight.
Oh, definitely lose some weight. Even if you eat 5 of them a day, which is a lot, that's, I think they're like 100 and some calories a piece. So you're bound to lose weight. But I don't know, even a week is good. If you just do it a week or 3 days. I've done lots of 3 days on grapefruits. I can get a little extreme dieting, so it's almost an unproud moment to say you've done it for 30 days. You should stop that, I got to go through all the funny texts that you guys shared. It looks like everybody was laughing, having a good time, and I want to go through all those fun texts and look at the videos, and oh, looks like fun. I thought I would do it after my practicum where I could just sit down and relax. I get to have a gong meditation tonight. I have 9 people coming, not bad, considering.
So did you take a class in how to do that, the gong meditation, or do you just?
I took everything I could find from Yogi Bhajan, including a PDF that he put out about the gong. And then I've watched him play several times, but there's really, there's a guy in California. I'd have to look him up on that web. I don't have his name memorized. He's a great teacher. And then I was with one of his students in Tucson. Oh my God. Boy, do they know how to play it. And you can play it with your own energy. You can move the gong with your own energy. So you've hit it and it's making a particular sound, and then you can push into it and you can change the overtone, which is really, when you're into it, it's so much fun.
So do you have one of those really big ones on the stand?
I did get a big one. I figured if I'm going to get it, I'm just going to get the best because I don't want to get another one, which is what I did with my harmonium. So
I have a small one, so I'm wondering if it would be worthwhile to bang that gong after a class.
It's supposed to be good for you, It's supposed to reset all your electrons and protons, and it's like a body reset. And they've used it in cancer treatment, and it's been proven to good. I think Deepak Chopra maybe was where I read that, but I don't know. So I just love it. The first time I attended one, I was like, oh my God. I was in Vegas. That's why I go to Vegas, to go to the Kundalini Center. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, they do a Kundalini class and a gong meditation for $20.
Is that close for you?
It's a $79 plane ticket away.
Oh.
It's one of those Allegiant flights. So it's kind of worth it, plan a few days off and go there and do some Kundalini. That's what I used to do. Now I do it myself, but I still like the place. And that guy teaches Kundalini also. That's what I was saying about, like, there's other Kundalinis, but he's from over there also. But I think a lot of it's the same. Everybody just seems to steal from everybody else. but I can't remember what it's called, Kundalini Yoga, something in Vegas. And they put classes out every day. You can watch their classes too. Yeah, here it is right here. It's the, oh, now I lost the commercial part. Oh, KYR in Las Vegas. And they seem to do everything about the same, but interesting guy. And he travels, he takes people to India. So does Russell Paul. And he's the guy that wrote Yoga of Sound, and he also wrote Jesus in the Lotus. And he is into exact pronunciation when you're chanting, but when you're singing, it's a whole different ballgame. But both of his books are really good. And I'd love to go with him to India because he's from India. He grew up there. He was a rock and roll band person until he went to like monk school, which is where Jesus in the Lotus comes from, because the place that he went to had a Jesus sitting in a lotus. Isn't that cool?
Very cool.
Yeah, and that book is actually really good. It tells you all about his life, and then when you read the Yoga of Sound, makes so much sense. So,
Satnam.
hi, Nam.
Let's get started on the moon.
Oh,
The
yes.
moon. Om Som Somi Namaha. There's your bija sound for the moon. Som. Som is the bija sound for the moon. There's bija sounds for everything. Kavaya Adi was asking about bija seed mantras. And we're going to talk about this heavenly body today and how it impacts us. So the moon affects us so readily. All right, this is just some factual information we're going to start with first. Is the moon affects us because it is actually very close to us. It's 400 times closer to us than the sun. And but at that's like, it's still 238,000 miles away approximately from the earth. And this body that affects us, it affects us physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It affects the waves, the ocean's waves that you see as they rise and as they fall. It controls the tides. The moon has a lot of energy and impact on us on every aspect. And it has a huge impact on us from an emotional point of view with regards to the different parts within our body. But it actually, the moon shifts and changes. And one of the things is it's one of I do Vedic astrology. And one of the powers of the moon is that it is so easy to track because it's on a 28-day cycle. It shifts and changes approximately every 2.5 days. It actually changes, actually has subtle changes 2 to 3 times a day as well. And all this, impacts all of us, whether we're men, whether we're female, it doesn't matter. It affects our animals. It affects everything you can think of. And so one of the things in Kundalini Yoga that we emphasize is the different parts of the body that the moon truly impacts. Okay. And, we also refer to it as the lunar cycle. Okay. And so who was it that, was it Shakti Harjeet? I don't know who you're pointing to. Sorry.
Priya.
It was Priya.
Priya Dale. Right. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So because this moon shifts and changes on a daily basis, it creates, so to speak, a wave within us. Okay. And so in the female body, the moon actually shifts us at 11 different points within our body. Okay. Does anybody know what they are offhand? Seated Kabaya?
I think I have a cheat sheet in front of me. Hairline, eyebrows, pinks of the cheeks, lips, earlobes, chin, back of the neck, breasts, navel, vagina, inner thighs.
Very good. And what about the men? You know where their center is? Right, it's the chin. Yes, yes. And the men, to talk about that, because they, you know, when they have that covered with a beard, maybe Bald Dave, since he is here, he might want to speak on that personally of his experience, because it's important that we take this from both sides and understand the impact of the lunar cycle for men as well and how it impacts them.
Well, having a beard balances and allows that energy not to be like all freaky and wild is basically what the beard does. I don't have much experience not having a beard, so I can't really relate to that because I've had a beard since I was 20 years old. But it's very important in yogic teaching to have a beard, at least in our way of life, to help balance that energy. Because if the moon in a man is overwhelmed, it's crazy. People can get crazy.
What do they do? Oh,
What do they do?
sorry.
Well, you know, they just don't act normal. They like, you know, stay up all night, for instance, or they, you know, go on binges and do crazy things, and it just gets their normal habits out of whack. You know?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
will.
it's like
Huh?
being in a whack-a-mole. It's like this month it'll be this thing, and next month it'll be that thing. It's just like whatever impulse comes, they react to the impulse.
So I have, you know, so I can give the example of my husband because he's gone without wearing a beard, and he's gone with wearing it. Now I actually have him on a strict rule. He has a fixed heart center, so there's obviously some exchange I have to in order for him to grow his beard. Okay. But when he doesn't have it, it actually affects me more when he doesn't have a beard. That energy, that, you know, because basically having that beard covering that chin neutralizes the lunar side of things, the moon. Okay. And so for me personally, it makes it a lot easier when I'm interacting with the men and they have this covered with a beard. You know, I suppose these days we have masks, so I mean, you know, it's covered. And so there's actually an easier interaction I have when I engage with men and have communication with them at different levels. I found them that they're more centered. Okay. They come across as more centered. Okay. Haridas, did you have something to add to it?
I always have something to add to it. Thank you. This is a teaching from the women's camp training, that women's camp teaching that he gave a long time ago, that when a man has their chin covered, it really centers them. So, but when you, like Sadhari was saying, when she looks at a man or is interacting with a man with a chin covered, it makes it a lot easier for us to be us, like for women to be women, because there's something about when their chin isn't covered, they're like little baby boys. like we like energetically, subconsciously, we don't appreciate them as men. Like in a way, we want to emasculate them, we want to control them, we want to dominate them, versus, oh, you're like, signals to us, oh, you're a real man. Like having hair is like energetically, with your hair growing down, pulls the energy down, but solidifies the male identity, the masculine identity. So if you are dating someone or know of someone that, or would like to get with someone, ask them, hey, would you like to try growing out your hair, see what that like, because that's so manly, you know, because it only happened the last few years that the man bun came around and the long beards and the, you know, it's hip to have a beard now, you know, because it means I'm not cutting off my hair. I'm not trying to be all prim and proper all the time. It's like, ladies, letting your hair down. It's the same. It's like, I let my beard grow. And ever since I've met my husband, which was 9 years ago, he's always had a beard. And I know if he didn't have it, he wouldn't be as grounded as he is. So just check it out. You know, if you have someone in your life that is interested in growing a beard, encourage it. Just see what it's like. Yeah. Thank you. And the other thing from Women's Camp is when you can contain a man's energy field when they walk into the room simply by doing one gesture. Please don't take it as anything sexual. It's not sexual. You're just containing their energy field when they walk in. Okay, it's with your eyes. Okay, so this is what you do. Somebody walks in, my door is right there, so that's why I'm looking that direction. Somebody's walking in, and I look at the ground, and then I go up to the top of their head. See it? I look down, follow their energy upward to their spine. Like I catch them from their ground aura upward to the heavens. Like I go, I'm containing you. Okay, so all you have to do is you look at them, but not like look at them bottom up. Bottom up, contain them. So energetically, you've contained that energy field, which is a male masculine energy field. Because when you look them down to up, not up to down, right? So down to up, you just, okay, I got you. I know what you're about. Okay. So you're containing them. So then if you had that little girl feeling of I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm like, all those insecurities wouldn't be acted out because you've already contained it. You know, you've contained them. So when you interact with them, like Sadhari says, there's a chance that you can interact with them on different levels versus on a beast animal level. Who's noticed this? Before Kundalini Yoga, a lot of people, when you walked around, would just, and this was males, you could see the males glancing at females as they go by. You know, they just kind of give a look, but sometimes the look is a bit too long, but they're like, oh, short shorts, oh, tight top, you know, like this is what I really appreciate about our Sangha community. I can interact with any male and it's like they're my brother, my uncle, you know, just like in the Sikh tradition, like every man is like my brother, my uncle, my father. So there's more of you can interact with people immediately versus the animalistic world, especially in California. We have beaches, you know, there's a lot of people with very little clothing on. When you walk around, you just don't walk to the beach. You're walking and looking, like gawking at people because they're showing so much skin. So that's also another topic of, when you're teaching, I would really love it if you could, you know, cover your skin. Because a lot of people are not trained to just see you as a teacher. They see you and they see your skin. So especially now because it's so hot, we're just wearing tank tops and we're teaching. But like, beware of the plunging necklines. Beware of the tank tops when you're teaching, because when you're in cat-cow, everything kind of hangs out, you know? And here you are like seriously trying to teach and you're like, oops, sorry girls, they're popping out again. You know, like save yourself the mishaps of costume malfunction. And you know, you can wear anything that makes you feel graceful. Let's put it like that, because every teacher represents a student's higher consciousness. So you're not just you're you, but you're also teachership you. Okay, so just something to plant right there. Thank you. Back to you, Sadhari.
Okay. Oh, did you have a question, Shakti Harji?
Two quick questions, actually. For the eyes, when you're looking at a person, can you use that also for a woman that comes into the room?
I think we have to be very careful with women because it makes you feel like you're checking them out. You know, I mean, you got to do this so fast. So it's like, oh, I just see you at my door, like that, like a kid walks in, a dog walks in, you know, instead of being shocked, like they're there, you're just, oh, I'm containing you. I see you, but look at the ground up because their aura reaches into the ground. So it's like you're accepting their aura, you know, but just be careful with women, like just in general right now, because they could perceive it as, why are you looking at me like that? Because we are so sensitive, you know, we've got 16 times power of everything. Yeah, but definitely when you can contain the man, it's not like you're trying to contain them. It's just energetically, you're like, oh, I see who you are, like that, you know, as in you can perceive with your intuition anything that's going to come your way. As a woman, this is your power, but we don't activate that power. So we get shocked. We're like, I can't believe that happened versus I sense there's something there the whole time, you know, like we want to activate your powers. Excellent. Thank you. Do we answer your other question?
I just wanted to know for the beard, does it have to be long or can it be any kind of facial hair? Because my husband has a beard, but it's not long. He just keeps it short.
Anything is better than nothing. Okay, that's great. Goatees are fine, right? We just want to get them into the feeling of sensitivity. It's your hair at that center. Do you feel it? Is it helpful? Right? Because we're not telling our guys, you better have a beard or else. We're saying, try it out. Try it out. Thank you. So,
and it's a good experiment, you know, to interact with them, because my husband now, right, he's now finally gotten to the understanding of like, between him and I, it's actually better. It's been better, way better. And that is one of the only things that's really changed for him to wear his chin covered for the last, well, you know, he just, since we went into COVID, it was perfect opportunity.
Thank you, COVID.
Right. And so, you know, even if your man isn't interested in doing it, you can just suggest it as an experiment, because it does impact him, it impacts you, and your potentially your interaction with each other. So I always love experimenting, so it's fun.
And while we're on the topic of experimenting in hair, who's grown out their pits? It's COVID. Exactly. Try it out.
Yeah. It eventually stops.
It does.
You know.
Oh yeah, that's the thing about hair. As we're talking about this, it grows to the length it needs to balance your magnetic field. Okay, so Shakti Harjeet, if you decided to grow out your hair, maybe that is grown out, or it will grow to a certain level and then it'll stop. Didn't I tell you about the teacher, one of my teachers, when she cut her hair when she went through a divorce? Did I tell you that story? Yeah, it grew like boom. And the whole time her hair was only here. And then all of a sudden she went through her divorce and it went bing all the way to her elbows. Because that was the stress time she needed so she could balance herself. Yeah, Priyadil.
I feel like my hair has grown so much over the last few months. And I do remember you speaking about that story. And it is really interesting. And I did mention it to my partner. I just wanted to say this. Like, I took that class specifically last week or a couple weeks ago, I can't remember. And so, you know, it's like, oh yeah, I learned this and this and this. And I wish I would have, looking back, I should have just retracted everything and been like, hey, I wish I had this conversation first to just try this experiment, because he does go back and forth, but he never goes super, super long in the beard. But for sure, he is a man who needs this in his life, at least from my perspective. Like, he's got all the emotions, all the sensitivity, and I would love to see if that, you know, would benefit himself in a relationship. So I'm gonna ease it in somehow soon and see what he thinks.
Okay, who thinks Jason Momoa is sexy?
Okay, I don't even know who that is. So
Water. What's that movie he was in? He was the water god. What was that movie? It was a Disney. Come on, help me out here. It was a Marvel. What was it?
Aquaman. Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. man bun, beard. Well,
How
anyways,
go?
yeah.
Yeah, even my wife likes him.
Yeah. That is a perfect example of beard, Priya Dale. So you'd be like, babe, I think he's sexy. You want to grow your beard too? Okay, back to you. Said Hattie, 11 moon centers. Let's go.
All right. Yes. All right. So something to keep in mind, okay, because we do get differing information. The moon centers, they do not necessarily coincide with our personal menstrual cycle, okay, or even our mood cycle. All right. This is something to keep in mind. And all these 11 centers, all right, we have to tap into our subtle nature, all right, to get a sensitivity to how the moon is affecting us and when it is hitting or impacting, I should say is a better word, these different 11 moon centers, okay? Because we can notice what we need to do when the moon is hitting these particular points, okay? Sometimes we can leverage it and make use of it. So for example, when the moon is impacting our arc line, okay, when your hairline or arc line moon center is activated, all right, you typically, most of us are at our best. We tend to be more outgoing, centered, tapped into our sensitivity, and our communication tends to be more neutral, okay? And it tends to be when we are at the closest to our truth, okay? So there's a self-assuredness there, there's a confidence there. And it typically is those times when things seem to fall into place, all right? And so it's one of those times when our moon center is impacting our arc line, it is potentially an opportunity for us to kind of pretty much do anything, especially making those types of important decisions, working out our relationships, all right? But you keep in mind, again, right, the moon shifts every 2.5 days. All right, so what you're noticing, so if you're going to track this, kind of block off time, 2.5 days, if you're doing a journal or there's charts that we have that can use, and I can send you one of those if you want one, if you want to track it, so that you can notice what is being hit. And so one of the things to do is this is where our meditations and our practices. So some meditations, in case you haven't tried them, all right. One is the Grace of God meditation. And the one that's the most powerful, and it actually works all 11 moon centers because it's important to do. I mean, are we going to take them through this, Haridas? Do you have that?
So Hattie, no, I don't have that at the moment, but you can. Or what I'd like to happen, is that in the book right now that we can read?
There's some of it on 237.
Okay, so everyone on page 237, but what I'd really love to see, Sadhati, is like you list the 11 centers and then just give brief pointers. So like, I want you to create a chart, everyone. I want you to make a graph out of it, okay? If we don't have one already, make a chart. Like when she was saying, on this center, you're at your best, like when at each location, what are the cues? Because eventually what we want you to do is create your own chart. Like, oh, today it's in this point. And 2.5 days from now, it's going to go to my eyebrows. And then it's going to go to my thighs. And then it's going to go to my clitoris. And then, like that. Like, I want you to chart your own path. So Sahari, if you can give us the 11 points and the qualities.
Yeah, I'll be clear. Brief.
Yeah. Really brief, because then we can start to have you go journal and try to figure out your path, like which centers are being activated. Because if you're in a center that you're super social, I don't want you to make any business decisions, like bad time. Like if you're super emotional, look at your chart and you'll say, I'm going to get back to you in 14 days. Like you do your calculation, you're like, oh, I'll be much better here. Right? So she's going to tell you the centers and she's going to tell you the qualities of them. And then you can decide for yourself what's a good day to do what. Like this is just creating your sensitivity to it. Shakti Harjeet, page, was it 237?
Yes, that's the,
337.
yeah, but it's not laying them all out.
Okay. Well, anyways,
Um,
that's just your reference because Sathari is going to give you more information. That's why we have her around. She's so rich
and
with
I'll send you a
information.
chart, an email, and I'll send you actually a nice little picture. It has them all. Okay, so we'll start with the hairline because that's where we are. So again, that's more about wisdom, focus, steady, stable, clear. Great time for decisions. Our eyebrows. Okay, this is an imaginative, visionary time, being creative and playful. But this is not the time typically to make decisions. This is more time for dreams. Okay, moving on to our cheeks. All right, most emotional, illogical, irrational. Our emotions tend to run high and therefore we're unpredictable. So it's the best time for us to, you know, maybe take some time for ourselves during this time because we can make erratic decisions. And so it's not the best time for decision making. Our earlobes, okay, intelligent, connected to our values. We can be prone to being active, and activism is something that, you know, when our earlobes are connected, is something that connects us to that. The back of the neck. So now this is, you know, there's romantic, erotic, flirtatious. So it's also risky and illogical. So this is a good time for brainstorming, but not making decisions, not major decisions. Okay. Our lips, communication. Okay. Our words can either be uplifting or they can be super harsh. All right. And here is, you know, obviously kissing and eroticism, that's here. So it's got to be clear with where we're at. The breast or the nipple area. All right. This is compassion. This affects where we would prefer to be touched. Okay. There's essentialness and sexualness and a giving type of a feeling that we have. There's a nurturing feeling that we have. We want to offer our nurturing typically when we're impacted here in this area, in the breast, the nipple area. Now the navel, all right, this one's a big one. Okay, when the moon is impacting the navel, this is when we're at our most vulnerable. It's important for us to do things like breath of fire. This is where we focus on being more creative, dancing, meditating, practice being silent, because what comes with this is also some level of insecurity. Okay. So then we have our inner thigh. So this is where organization, making lists, cleaning, being productive, you know, and life affirming, and we can get obsessive. Okay, when the moon is impacting our inner thigh. When the moon is affecting or impacting our vaginal area, we can be very social, but ready more for a deep connection. And at the same time, there's a tendency to be and go inward with ourselves. Okay. And then lastly, the clitoris. This is when the moon is impacting this. Now you got to keep in mind, I keep saying moon because it is when the moon is impacting these areas. All right. So this clitoris, it's, you know, activates us from a very social aspect. And so we can become very social. We enjoy interacting with others, networking with people, and it tends to be more of an extroverted time. Okay, Shakti Harjeet, we were on 237. Yeah, but the Levin centers aren't in the book as I've been able to find them. So, but I will be sure to get this information to you later today. Okay. All right. So that's the 11 centers in a snapshot. Okay. And so, so you want to have them journal for a little bit, Haridas, then on this too?
Actually, just as a chart, just to have Sadhari go over the 11 points and just quickly again, just to be sure we have it all down, like a little map, like your little legend on the map, so that you can start going in your own world, journaling and figuring out, like, where am I today?
Okay.
So just very quickly again, your 11 points. So
All
number
right.
one.
So we have the hairline.
Number one, hairline.
Number 2, eyebrows. 3, we have the cheeks. 4, we have our earlobes. 5, we have our lips. 6 is the back of the neck. 7 is the breast, in particular the nipple area. 8 is the navel. Okay. 9 is our inner thigh. 10 is the vagina. And 11 is the clitoris.
Okay, so those are the 11. And
Yes.
when you're at the hairline, just like 1 or 2 phrases per points would be good. Again, Sadhari, please.
Oh, okay. Did I go too fast? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So 2 points. Hairline's great for decision making. Okay. Focused, steady time is when we're stable. Eyebrows, that's our imaginative time, visionary time, a good time for dreams, not the best time for decisions. Cheeks. All right, this is when we tend to be more emotionally illogical, and our emotions can run high, and we're unpredictable. Earlobes. It's an intelligent time. This is a time where we're connected highly to our values, and we tend to be active in our communities. Lips, communication. Okay, and keeping in mind that at this time, our words can be either uplifting or very harsh. Back of the neck. This is flirtatious, also illogical, not a time to make decisions. Brainstorming.
Breast.
The nipple area. Okay, this is a nurturing time. It affects where we prefer to be touched, and it actually triggers our compassionate side. Navel point. Vulnerability. Creativity. Meditate. Meditate. Inner thigh. This is where we're organized. Okay, so this is when we're highly productive. Vagina, social, but interested in deep connections and a tendency to go inward. And clitoris, very social. It's a time for us to connect And it also tends the time for us to be more of an extroverted.
Great job, said Hetty. So for instance, you could be a super intelligent, super active mom, get so much stuff done, and then all of a sudden, on the day, let's see, on your cheeks day, you stand in front of your closet and you say, I don't know what to wear. I can't figure it out. I don't know. Right? But like in normal life, you kick ass and everything, but then you stand there, you're like, I don't even know what to eat. What am I doing? Right? So we get into these modes where you're like, what? You run a this and this, but you can't figure out what to wear. Yeah, it's not a mood we're in. It's just, that's where our moon center is that day. So certain days you're not like your shining, usual productive self. So those days, just give yourself a break, like recognize, oh, I must be having that kind of day. Right? The fallacy is women, we think we always are something all the time, and we're not. We are the waning and waxing moon. So give yourself that kind of budget to, sometimes I'm like this, sometimes I'm like this. Like be flexible and honoring of yourself. I mean, when Sahadi says all these things, I'm like, of course, we are all of this. We're not just always back of neck or always in communication. Some days I shouldn't even be speaking. But obviously today I think I'm very, very socially extroverted. So I think I'm in number 11, so like that. I just want you to go through, as you journal or as you reflect on yourself every day, where do you think you are? And make a list, like maybe in the upper corner of the paper, which points you think they are. And just, over the next few days, because I think it's 2.5 days times 11 points. It's going to be like at least a month, right? At least a month. You're going to do this mapping. And then you'll figure out, where is my route? Where do I go with this? And then you'll figure out it starts to make sense if you actually take the time to do it. And the other thing is, once you figure out that route, it's yours. It doesn't change. So, if you schedule something years from now, you're like, I know where I'm going to be. You'll have the sensitivity of it. And yours is going to be different from everyone else's. Thank you, Sadhari.
Mm-hmm.
Questions? Yes, Shakti Harji.
So do they always go in order from 1 to 11? And then are we following the actual movement of the moon? Is it the same?
Good question. Good question. So point number 1, she's described 11 points of the moon for you. Your route might go 3, 7, 4, 9, 11, 2. Like it can go anywhere, but that does not match up necessarily to full moon, new moon, 11 day. It doesn't, like, don't even look at the moon itself. Look at your calendar and how your route is, right? So you have your orbit, you have the Earth's orbit, you have the moon's orbit. Like, we are so complicated. So this is what we're trying to map out. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just important to, it's not, again, not tracking the moon per se, like looking at, like a lunar calendar, for example. You can do that, but what you're focusing more, because you're focusing all on yourself and how the waves of you move every 2.5 days, and how you shift and change 2.5 days. And then over a period of, typically it takes a few months to kind of notice your pattern. Okay. And how you move through these different states that the moon, that body, how it impacts you. And then it will, like, like Haridas is saying, you'll begin to know, like, when it's correct for you to, be quiet on your own, to be out in the world, and how you're going to schedule your day, how you're going to schedule your month, because it's powerful to use this technique to figure out how you're going to make use of your time and your energy. Because once you start truly honoring yourself, that confidence of how you move throughout this planet in your everyday life is going to allow your radiance to glow even more so, because you're honoring yourself. And as you honor yourself, the people in your life, the people you know and don't know, they will start to honor you and respect you in a new way. It's a selfish type of thing of this, all this focus on you. But this is how valuable it is for us on the planet, for us as, you know, whether we're male or female, to be living as ourselves. And this is part of, you know, something that we have access to awaken ourselves up to ourselves and live as ourselves.
Excellent. And this is a tool, right? Another tool in your toolkit that you can pull up your schedule and you can tell me where you're going to be September 25th. And then you overlay this map on it and say, oh, I'm actually social today. I'm really looking forward to it. Or I'm going to be really internal. So my experience is going to be internal. And just like for yourself, you don't have to tell people like, oh, today it's on number 7. You know, like they may not even know, but maybe this group would know. And you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to give you some, something later. I'll bring some tea over to you. You know, like that. Like just understand, like it's all about sensitivity. How do we navigate our world knowing that internally we don't really want to talk to people? Okay, so I'm going to create my day schedule so that I could do internal things. And I won't get upset when I'm supposed to go out and do something else, right? Like it's to tune into your flow on those certain days, to honor you. Like Sadhati said so beautifully, we're here to honor you. So the more you accept yourself and understand your routes, the more you can be flexible with yourself. More compassion, more kindness, more tolerance. Because, you know, I think it was Priya Dayal that like gets distracted, that doing becomes a distraction. And that maybe those are the days she needs to be more still and inward. Like she would benefit more that way, as a thought. Now, we love teaching you things, like this is great technology and information, but I always want to hear about the integration. How do we use this? So Baldev, do you by any chance know your wife's moon days? Not menstruation days, but like her moon cycle, like this 11 moon cycle days?
No.
No. But can you
Not
tell sometimes in which they could, like, could you perceive, oh, I think it's this day. Like because we told you the legend now, we told you the map. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I could definitely, you know, I could track it myself.
maybe you should as an exercise, Dave, and you tell her. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Excellent. Thank you, Priya.
The teacher I just recently learned this from was one of our trainers, Hari Prakash. And she shared something, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing because she's shared it a few times. But when she finally figured out her cycle with the 11 cycles, she said that she put it up on her refrigerator in her home, and that she told her then husband, "This is what you refer to when you want to communicate with me." And she's like, it was good.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But also on those days, you could pay attention to yourself and go, wow, I said that a bit too loud. Wow, why did I blow up so loudly? You know, like how did I get so emotional? Oh, look at that. Oh, it makes sense. Right? So it's to fine tune you. Because who's going to benefit from this, Sadhati? Who's going to benefit once you know your map?
The whole world. Because we're natural leaders. We're here to, and everybody's going to benefit. When a woman is in touch with herself at this level, the whole world benefits. Everyone around you is going to benefit. And the one thing that this helps you do is it helps you understand how to set your boundaries and when to set them.
Right. So being sensitive to recognize that I need boundaries on certain days because I'm just going to lose my, I'm going to lose it. So like, don't push me to that point. Right. So you're getting ready, you're readying yourselves. So is this a battle kind of day, or do I get to relax kind of day? Or is this a productive kind of day? Or is this, like that, like just so you can figure out your days. Excellent. And there's certain days you need chocolate. admit it. It's okay. Let me go see. Let me put that on the schedule when I go to the grocery store, right? Like fit it in. Oh, ice cream, definitely ice cream day, definitely cookie day, definitely. Oh, just celery because I'm cleansing today. Right? Look at us. We do it all. We do it all. This is like the joy of living as Kundalini yogis. You enjoy it all. And then you fast later. Go ahead, Priyadil.
I feel like I'm in like the first layer of discovering because I've started to like along with my journal, you know, write down where I think I'm at. But I know it's going to take a little bit more, like another cycle and another, maybe even 2 more or something, maybe 3 more. But it's like really subtle because you have to be, well, I have to be more objective, I think. Like, because I already have this kind of notion that because I'm a woman, I am just emotional and sensitive, but I am good at maybe either expressing it or not expressing it. And then so like, yeah, it's just interesting to try and like navigate through it a little bit. I guess because I've started and it's like trying to find like the subtlety with it. Like because you could think like, I guess what I'm saying is like your mind could say like, oh no, I'm definitely that. But maybe that's just because you're like relating to something that happened that day.
Right. So this is why we tell you, this is like a very rough map, right? Like this is extremely rough. So it's up to you. And it cannot be a thinking thing. It has to go with an not emotional, intuitive thing. So intuitively you go in and you ask yourself that, like, it's like you're scanning yourself. Because if you say today I'm a number 11, tomorrow I'm a number 8, your mind is going to try to give you cues to confirm that thought. Because it wants to be smart, it wants to be right, versus mind, shut up, let's go. Let me check myself. And this is why it takes journaling. And this is why Sadhati said probably 6 months, right? It's going to take some time. And your words may not be this. Maybe your words, instead of nurturing, might be tender, might be not wanting to express my interests. You know, whatever your words are, your qualities may be a little bit different too. So this is why this is like an experiment. That's why this is fun, to go figure it out. So yeah, not thinking. Get that out of the way. This is all about sensitivity. You are using your divine power, your 16 time power of intuition and internal sensitivity to figure it out.
I guess I have one more question. So in regards to men and women, or how you like the identity of man and woman, does that mean that men like won't go through, I know there's only one cycle.
I already know your question. I already know your question. Yeah. Okay. It's a rough one, Baldev. Cover your ears. What we go through in a month, they go through in a day. Okay. What we go through in a month, our 11 centers, because they have one, they deal with it all the time. So they'll have flirtation, they'll have nurturance, they'll have creativity, they'll have deep connect, like all of it. So that's why, in a way, a male dominant person actually does have a lot of sensitivity. How many of you are or were with men who were very sensitive? Sensitive, right? Like almost baby sensitive, like I'm hungry, I'm hangry, feed me now, you know, like Hari Jyoti, all of a sudden, ding, I got you, right? It's like that. And we're like, oh, let's delay it a few hours. I got this and this to do. I'll eat later. You know, we're the worst. Women are the worst. Like we don't eat, we don't drink, we don't even pee for hours because we're so busy doing stuff. It's like, stop it, honor the body, really honor your body. For them, they'll just do what they need to do. So it's us, like we need to develop our sensitivity so that we can be fine driving machines, you know, like get really fine, refined, so that we're better. Because the problem with us is we blow out our tires and then we're like a disaster for a long time. So we just need to keep our maintenance, keep it going. Check in once in a while. Am I low on oil? Do I need refill on liquids? Do I this, it's for yourself. Excellent. And also, Priya Dale, how long was your workshop with Hari Prakash?
It was 2 hours, but we ended a little bit early, so just under 2 hours.
Yeah, so like roughly she had an hour 45 maybe ahead of you, right? Because Sadhari just delivered this message to you today. So everyone's just roughly about 2 hours behind Priya Dayal. So that means she's got a little bit of a head start, but that means you can also figure out your map too. Good. See, this is why I love Kundalini Yoga. There's so much to learn, so much to practice. And Kavalya Aftar, do you possibly see, like, do these 11 points, have you experienced them at some point or not another? Maybe you didn't know they were 11 points, but like, do you sense these in you?
To some extent, yes. I'd have to like really look at it and think about it, I think. But yes, I definitely feel like different days I feel different ways.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing about this lesson today is realizing, wow, I'm so complex. And why do I expect all this out of me every single day? It's illogical. It's like rude. It's like rude to think I'm the same person every day. It's not possible. How could it be? Look at my moon centers. Right? So if you get up each day and just do your sadhana, hallelujah, I celebrate that already. I don't care what time you do it, just do something for yourself every day, because we are trying to honor our sensitivity and being amazing people out on the planet. Thank you. Anything else at Hari Baldev? Any other topics or anything you'd like to add to this? Because I'm going to jump onto something else, so I'm going to have you wrap this
So
up.
there's just two things. One thing, this is what she said. This is a real subtle awareness of your body, right? And awareness of how that works. And the other thing is there's a lot of resources online. So if you want to delve deeper into it, there's a lot of resources online.
I think the last thing to say is if you really want to track this, getting those moon centers first in balance will allow you to track it much easier. And so doing the, laying on your belly with Kirtan Kriya, and we'll have to show you that someday, but I will send it to you. It should be in one of the books here, of practicing that, because it will get all the 11 centers in alignment and balance them. And then it will make it easier for you to track and to see your pattern. And it's something that you can do every day, and it doesn't take long, just a few minutes.
Any other discussions on this?
Any questions?
Is that a hand up, Hari Jyoti, or are you just waving? Is Hari Jyoti speaking?
Oh, sorry, never. Yes, it's just I'm on my iPhone, so sorry. No, it's just the Kirtan Kriya on your stomach. It's very nice to do that when you go to bed. You can do it in your bed, and you can just actually go to sleep like that. Just a comment.
Very good. Sounds like you practiced it before, huh?
Yeah, I think that's it's a very nice thing, because it's just a little something that you can easily add to your practice, because you can do it at nighttime in your bed. So it's just a little comment.
Thank you. Very nice.
That's so interesting that she says that, because I find that Kirtan Kriya makes me very relaxed, and I love doing it right before I go to bed. It makes me like, that's interesting. I will try it on my stomach.
It's so intuitive. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Sadhari. Okay, everybody, inhale, exhale. Now put your books away, and you're going to pull up your emails. Oh, wait, you don't have your email on you. Okay, hold on. I will share a screen with you, and we're going to look over the mantra sheet of Dana Dana. Here we go. You don't need your email. I emailed it to you is what I meant to say. Yeah, I emailed you. Can you see this? Am I screen sharing? Yes? Okay, Okay, so this is Gurmukhi, and it says Dhanna Dara Ramdas Gur. It's in tiny, so I hope you can see it. I'm just going to read it to you first, what we're really chanting. Honored and praised is Guru Ram Das, the Lord who created you. He has adorned and embellished you. Perfect is the miracle of your making. The Creator himself has installed you on the throne. Your Sikhs and all the Sangat bows and reveres you as the Supreme Lord. You are unshakable, unfathomable, and immeasurable. Your extent is beyond limit. They who serve you with love, they are carried across the world ocean by you. Greed, attachment, lust, anger, and ego. These 5 passions have been beaten down and driven out by you. Honored is your place, true and your bounties. You are Nanak, you are Angad, and you are Guru Amardas. So do I recognize you. Seeing the Guru, my soul is sustained. Okay. And now, well, Dave, do you know the story of this? Do you want to share? I mean, you've been chanting it every day, right? 11 days.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I mean, you mean the miracle behind it?
Yes.
The positive miracles behind it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So one of the things that we do is using this is like opening yourself up to the gift of Guru Ram Das. And the gift of Guru Ram Das is compassion. It's grace. It's allowing yourself to be in a state where you can accept the miracles in your life. And basically that's really what it is. It's putting you into a state where you can accept the miracles that are in your life and the miracles that you want in your life. And the practices varies, but some people do it like 2.5 hours a day for 40 days or 2.5 hours a day for 11 days or so on and so forth. But the bottom line is that by practicing this mantra, you basically, as I said before, open yourself up to be in that vibration so that when you ask for a miracle, Guru Ram Das into his vibration and he can't turn you down.
Basically, you're vibrating at that frequency of Guru Ram Das's energy field of grace and healing and miracles. So you can send in a thought form, you can send it to somebody, this kind of healing energy, or you can just bathe in it. Okay, so I'm just going to go over a few words with you, so we'll make sure you're saying it right. And remember, you have it on your email as well. It's spelled D-H-A-N, and the tendency is one to say Dan, but with that H, it's done, dunna, right? Because in between words is an actual little A sound to connect the consonants. So it's Danna, Ramdas, Gur. Okay, we always want to say Guru, but it's actually Gur. Dan, Ramdas, Guru, Jin, Siriya, Tinna, Savaria. Puri, Hoi, Karamat, Apa, Sirjan, Har, Daria. Sikke ete sangati parabram kar namaskaria. So like the words are long, right? But you have this and you can practice this at home for a while. But I want you to try to read along or sing along. So again, if you don't know the words, always try to mouth it. Hold on, I think there might be a second sheet I don't have. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna play.
Louder, please.
Are you playing the mantra? I don't hear it.
And inhale. And exhale. Yes, Sadhguru?
We can't hear it.
Why didn't you tell me? I'm here all rocking out.
We did. We did.
Jeez.
Several times.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's
I'm
all,
sorry.
it's all
I'm
part
all
of the
into
master
it.
plan. It's all part of the master
We
plan.
just watched you. It was good.
I'm all lost in music. Oh my God, it's so good. Aren't they? I'm so into it. I'm sorry. I'm all highlighting it for you to read. Okay, I'll do better. All right, big inhale, everybody. Sadhguru, long Sat Nam.
Inhale.
Sat Nam. All right, enjoy your 15-minute break. And is it Preetar Deva we're going to see today? All right, Preetar Deva, you're going to be leading the global sadhana, and it's going to be exciting. And your practicum, of course. All right, see you soon. Great job, everybody. 11 moon centers. Yay! Sat Nam.